we've dropped down 2 people. Never mind. As we get close to the time, we've got another 5 minutes or so, and we'll get there. Oh, let's just start. So, as I'm sure everyone's aware, and if you're not, you must be living in a hole, we are going through quite a tough time as a nation, and as members of the entire world, we're going through quite a tough time with this virus. And this is now coming towards the end of day 2 of lockdown. And I don't know about you, but it's driving me nuts. I've got my 2 kids at home, and they're wonderful. They're providing me with lots of entertainment, but it's hard work. It is hard work. But there is one thing that is keeping me going through this time. So there's let me turn that down. There's quite a lack of socialisation going on, with the 2-metre rule, with not being allowed out of your house apart from the main 3 reasons. And I do, I understand those 3 reasons. I'm obeying those 3 reasons. They're very important. But Gary wishes he could join on the net. I know you do, Gary. We will get you there, I promise. But it does bring a lack, or increase everyone's isolation, which is meant to, but socially that's really, really hard on people. And there's one thing that's keeping me going through all this, as I'm sure a lot of other people are doing the same, and that is the use of radio to communicate with lots of other people, all locally, nationally and internationally. That there are different ways of using radio. You can use something along the lines of this, okay, which is what we call a PMR 446 rig, and that allows you to some very short distance communications. They're free to use, i.e. you don't have to have a license, but and you can pick them up from somewhere like Argos. They're varying in prices depending on which brand you go for. Another method of radio communication is CB, or citizen band. My understanding is that has taken off recently a lot. There seems to be a lot going on there. Again, that is free. You don't need a license. You just need to order the kit, and there are lots of retailers online that will sell you the kit and have it delivered to you. The method I'm interested in personally is amateur radio, also known as ham radio. You can do a lot more with it than the other 2, and the reason you can do a lot more is because we have a great deal more frequencies we can use. We have a great different more methods we can use to use it, and it provides other interests as well, because as you go up through the license levels, you can start to construct your own radios. You can start to tinker with radios as you get trained. With amateur, you have to have a license. With the other 2, you don't. And to get a license, you need to sit an exam. I will come more onto exams a bit later in the video, as I have had a little bit of a brainwave to do with that. So, I'm just going to show you around my shack very quickly. Now, this could be a bit wobbly, because oh, I'm stood on the cable. So, you'll have to excuse the mess in here as well, because I'm doing all sorts at the moment, including dealing with kids, homeschooling, and things do just tend to dump. Let me start again. Things do just tend to get dumped on my shack. So I've tried to give it a bit of a tidy before I started this, but I apologise. So in my shack, I have just here. This is my main rig. This is a Yaesu FT991. This allows me to talk locally and also internationally in varying different ways, what we call modes, which Many of you will have heard of FM radio and AM radio. Those FM and AM refers to a mode or a way of communicating. So I can use FM and AM as well as a few other modes. It is also capable, although I haven't got it set up at the moment, to be plugged into a computer. I can use the computer to transmit digitally all across the world. Next to that, so if we come back round, next to that over here we have the power supply. That converts mains voltage into 13.8 voltage and allows the rig to run. Underneath here we have something called an ATU, or an antenna tuning unit. This actually just allows the, oh, I don't know if we can see it properly, that just here. This allows the antenna that I've got outside to, or it tricks the radio into thinking it's what we call a resonant antenna. No, resonant, not resident, resonant. Oh, hang on, let me just move my little stand a minute. There we go. So that's my shack at the moment. It does change quite regularly. I move things around, put new rigs in, take rigs out, as I'm experimenting with antennas and things. So very shortly, I don't know if there's anyone actually on air at the moment, but every evening, the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club meet up on air and we talk. You may have seen some of our adverts floating around. We have, not that one, where's it gone? We generally have an advert in this brochure, that tells you that we very often meet on 145, 475 megahertz, and that is what we're doing. We're talking on the radio when that happens. So we're now just waiting really to see if anyone comes on air, and so we can talk on air. Turn the radio up a bit and then we'll hear when someone calls in. This method of communication has, in the past couple of days, made me feel not so alone. I know I've got my children here, but very often we want adult conversation. This provides adult conversation. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the community we've got on air is brilliant. Everyone's there to help everyone else do what they can, and it's good fun. It's genuinely good fun. When we're not on lockdown, I on occasion go hiking on hills, and I set antennas up and rigs up on the hills with batteries, and try and get out as many contacts as I can in that time. Also, we very often have our radios in the car with us, and it allows you to have a means of communication at all times, where your mobile phone, I was looking for mine to hold up then, but I'm using it to talk to you. When your mobile phone doesn't have signal and you can't make a phone call, just get your radio out and you produce your own signal. It's brilliant. And it has saved lives in the past. Not too long ago there was an issue on, I believe it was Dartmoor, and we have a repeater on the Mendip Hills. Someone called into the repeater, spoke to someone in Bristol, and managed to get an ambulance out to the person who was quite unwell. I actually heard that happen live. It was quite interesting. Yeah, we're just waiting for anyone to come on air. I'll just put a call out myself, see if we turn that round so you can see what's happening. We'll try and get you a bit closer. You'll have to excuse me, my camera stand is actually just a car camera mount with stood up in a plant pot, because I have nothing else that would hold the camera. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. It's not amazing. Right, okay, so I'm going to try and put a call out now, see if anyone comes back. This is 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Listening.
2E0RWW, this is G5FM. Good evening, Mike.
G5FM from 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Good evening, Martin. Hope you're well. It's just to let you know, we are currently going out live on Facebook. So you are not only live on air on the radio, but you're live on air on the internet. So, yes, just to let you know.
Roger. I'm actually following it on my Facebook account. First time I've ever participated in live streaming on Facebook. And many thanks to you, Mike, for putting out the message about what we in the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club are doing and what amateur radio can bring to the present crisis. Back to you from G5FM.
From 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Yeah, no problem at all. Just a little idea that came to me earlier today, so I thought we'd give it a go this evening. We may continue to do this going forward on occasion. I'm not going to do it too often, but on occasion we may continue to do this. Anyway, I wonder if there's anyone else who would like to call in. So I'll pass back to you, but if we can leave a pause from 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey.
G5FM, nothing heard here, anything heard your end?
No, not currently. Hopefully it won't take long.
Yeah, okay, G5FM returning. Okay, I'll go back to monitoring the club frequency and watching the Facebook page.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, we will sit and we will monitor from this end in case anyone else would like to call in. This is 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, going back to monitoring. I'll pop that back up there. Oh, here we go, camera's falling over again. I apologise. So, as you heard there, we were using what is known as a call sign. So, Martin's was G5FM, mine is 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, or 2E0RWW. The call sign is an identifier issued to us by Ofcom once we've passed our exams. There are 3 levels of exam. There's foundation, intermediate and full. And obviously as you go up through the exams, the levels, you learn more about radio and how it all works, including a great deal of electronics, how electronic circuits work, and how all the components that you would find on a circuit board work and how to fit them all together, and you expand on that as you go through the license levels. So it's a good educational tool as well as fun to just talk on the radios. Oh, do excuse me. I have a feeling I've just opened up something I didn't want to. There we go. Right. Yeah, we're just waiting for someone else to come on air. And when they do, hopefully we'll have another conversation. If there is anyone watching from the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club, do feel free to get on air, because that's a really good way of joining in. We'd love to hear you on this go live. So we've got the rig turned up and we're just waiting for you to call in. I think I saw something come up then from on Facebook from M6MQB Matt. I don't know if you would like to call in on 145475. That would be wonderful. What I will mention is, going forward, whilst we're all on lockdown, I have been toying with the idea of doing a webinar online, doing foundation training. So if anyone out there is interested in doing foundation training, I will be posting information on the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club's Facebook page of online training that I'll be doing. Live video feed, where we can talk on air or online, voice to voice, and face to face, and we can go through the syllabus. So I've got some PowerPoint presentations we can go through, and we can cover all the theory in the syllabus. There is some practical elements to the exam, which are done separately from the actual exam itself, which we can do after lockdown has finished. The exam itself is multiple choice. It's not very long. I think it's 35 questions. I might be wrong. Probably am wrong. But there seems to be some activity on there, but no one's coming through. But yeah, so it's a multiple choice exam, but there are some practical elements as well, which we can do, as I say, at the club. If you'd like to come along to the club, or I can set a weekend up or something, and we can do the practical elements there. For those of you who don't know, when the club is back live, as in not on lockdown anymore, we are at the Glastonbury Scout Hut at the bottom of Benedict Street, and we meet there on a Friday evening between the times of about 6:30 to 9. Sometimes we're there a little earlier, sometimes we're there a little later than 6:30. I believe the official time is 6:30. We're normally there before then. At least one person normally is. So yeah, do feel free to come along once we're off lockdown. I'm going to put another call out a minute, and we'll see if anyone replies. Let's just lower the without tipping the camera over, and that's not going to work, so we're going to connect that one there. Sorry, my whole camera rig is a load of weights and balances at the moment, just trying to make sure the camera doesn't fall over. Let's put out another call, see what we can see if we can get anyone up. This is 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, listening for any calls on the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club net. 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, listening. So Matt, 2 Echo 0 FNT, you were on earlier. I don't know if you're still about.
2 Echo Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, G7NJT.
G7NJT, this is 2 Echo 0 Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Good evening, how are you doing?
G7NJT, returning. Doing fine there, Mike. Getting a bit confused by the delay, but you're coming through well. As a matter of fact, I've never seen one done like this before. Going through Facebook from the club site. Good. Sit down and watch for a minute. I'm having a bit of rig problems anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it works quite well. There is a delay due to the time the video gets through all the servers, etc., before it gets displayed. So yes, that can be a little bit annoying, but it does tend to work quite well. Sorry, did you say you were having some rig problems there?
G7NJT returning, yeah. I think I was talking to you earlier on about the mic.
He was.
It's a new radio, and it's quad band, and the frequencies are dotting around all over the place. I mean, I'm having difficulties keeping it stable on this frequency.
Do you have a lock button?
quite new to this one. I'll have a look and see, Rob.
Yeah, all received. I'll stand by. If you want to give me a shout back when you're ready, that's no problem. This is 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey Whiskey, going back to monitoring. So Mike there has a new rig. He's still learning how to. That's a new radio. He's still learning how to use it there. So that's not a problem. We're all here to help one another. And very often we'll all sit on the radio and trawl through manuals trying to find the answer to someone's problem. So yeah, as I say, keep an eye out on the Isle of Avalon Club page. We'll get some information on there about when our first webinar is going to be for the foundation license. It will be in stages. We're not going to cram the whole lot in one session because that is a lot of information. There's a good few different subjects we've got to cover before we can get you ready for your actual exam. It's fairly simple. I mean, there's not the foundation is not complicated, but it is there's just quite a lot of it. And the syllabus has recently changed as well, so we're still trying to get our heads around it, but we can plough through it. It's not a problem.
I'll be back shortly, Dave. Just in the middle of something.
Okay, so we've got oh, excuse me. We've got 2E0 FMT there and M3 MYM. Dave calling in, and oh gosh, I think my throat's gone dry. M3 MYM, this is 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Hi Dave, just to let you know, Matt's just in the middle of something a minute and he'll be straight back to you shortly.
Hey, thanks for that, Mike. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you Dave. Hope you're well.
I'm fine, thank you, yeah. I haven't been out much and only out to the front door, but ready for the recycling, doing things, you know, plodding around in the bungalow all day for a few days. Might go out tomorrow for an hour and get a bit of shopping and that'll be it. Then back into the perch, you know.
Yeah, that all sounds good. It's just to let you know, we're actually doing a live Facebook feed at the moment, so not only are you going out live on air, you're going out live on the club web. Oh, I can't get my words out. Going out live on the club Facebook page as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just to try and get a bit of advertisement going and explain to the general population what amateur radio is all about.
That's a good idea, that, Mike, isn't it? That's a good idea, that. Quite good. Yeah, I just listened to the news today. Hopefully it will get better as the time to go on now, Mike.
Well, fingers crossed. They reckoned 3 weeks, didn't they? But we'll see what they say after that's finished.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm not going to talk about politics, but there's nobody in Parliament now, is there?
Is there not? I haven't seen the news recently, so I couldn't tell you. I've been too busy with the little ones. And then I had a scouty thing on this evening online. And now we're here.
Yeah, that's Mike. Yeah. So the girls all right then?
Yeah, they're all good, thank you. They're all tucked up and fast asleep. And yeah, just ploughing through the time, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true, Mike. We'll get there, won't we?
We shall indeed. We shall indeed. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to see if there's anyone else on air who would like to call in from 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. I promise you my cough isn't coronavirus. It's smoker's cough. M3MYM 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. No, it doesn't appear to be anyone else on air at the moment.
Oh, thanks for it. Oh, sorry, Mike, I said the wrong word there. Got confused. Sorry
So Dave also does CB.
I said the wrong word.
Yeah, no, don't worry, Dave. It's understandable when you cross between the two systems.
Yeah,
Oh, very much. I mean, as you may know, my background's in military radio, so occasionally you'll hear me use some military terminology.
Understandable, yeah. Still busy then, plodding on, plodding about.
And that's all we are doing at the moment. It's just plodding around. My girls have managed to make quite the mess in my garden, and but yeah, it's all good fun. We're just it's nice actually to have some time at home with them, because most of the time they're at school and I'm at home or I'm at work, and then I see them for a few hours each evening, and I don't see them at weekends. But so it's nice to have the time at home with them, I have to say. From 2 Echo Zero, Romeo Whiskey Whiskey.
2 Zero FNT, back with everybody.
Matt's back.
Oh, well, sorry, Mike, I'm just a bit tired tonight. I don't know what it is, but there you go. Yeah, I'll come to you in a minute, don't worry. Mike, where are you? Mike, no, Mike.
So what Dave's doing is looking for my call sign on his list. I know you do, Gary. We will get you there, I promise. M3MYM from 2 Echo Zero, Romeo Whiskey Whiskey. Don't worry too much about my call, not a problem. Matt's just called in, so I don't know if you want to go to him.
Yeah, mate, thanks for that. Mike, good evening, Matt. Yeah, 2 Zero FNT, returning to the group there. Yeah, right, good evening, everybody, and everybody else as well that's listening in, the shortwave listeners, etc. this evening. Yes, I'm fine, thank you, Dave. Hope you had a good day, and weather's been nice. I know we haven't been able to do too much regards to things as the current situation still unfolds as it was, but yeah, we're all right. We keep smiling, as they say there, Dave. Back to you. Yeah, like I said, mate, I think not talking about politics on him, Matt, but you know, I think we'll get through it fine.
So we have got quite a good community going on air, which is helping us all get through this hard time. There are many different aspects to amateur radio. There's satellite operations, there's long distance, there's short distance. I may go live at some point, do a long distance, an HF video, which could be interesting.
Me taking over in 2018. But yes, he's currently our treasurer, and he's also in charge of our social media side of things and things like that. So very good to give Mike a big sort of cheer for all the hard work he does for the club there.
It's very kind, Matt, thank you.
Yeah, we hopefully there should be some more people joining us shortly. As I say, we don't really kick off to about now anyway, do we, of a general evening, just after 10, etc. So you know, hope you got everything in your knees and you're not got too bored, as it was there, Dave. Back to you. Exactly. I've got a bed one out tomorrow, Matt. It's not quite tomorrow, probably quite Friday for now, doing shopping. A few other little bits and pieces I've got to do out in places. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be okay. A bit cooler tomorrow, Dave. Weather's going to be a lot cooler than it has been because we're still under high pressure at the moment.
Hi Martin, thanks for your comment there. It's not a problem at all. I thoroughly enjoy doing this sort of thing.
Cold air from Scandinavia and places like that. But wrap up warm, go out in the garden, you know, play with your tulips and play with your daffodils or whatever, you know, give them a good old a tidy up as it was, you know, maybe get the old mower out, cut the lawn if it's got to that point yet, Dave, I'm not sure. But yeah, especially get odd jobs done. Another job which would be quite good, Dave, is get the old bucket and cloth out of that and clean all your windows. You can do that, you know, something to do. While it's sunny, you'll be able to see all the dirt on them there, Dave, you know, shining through. Back to you. Yeah, I might do it for tomorrow, Matt. So I feel what's going on, you know. So, you know, so I get on that, you know, I feel, you know, but got plenty of time to do things, don't worry about it. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, there's too much time on our hands as it was now at the moment. You know, there's lots of things to be doing, but unfortunately they cannot be done due to certain rules and regulations that we have to sort of be guided by at the moment there, Dave. But nevertheless, you know, go on, keep happy, as they say. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out a general call. If there's anybody out there wishing to join us, then they're more than welcome. Okay, this is 2E0 FNT. Anybody out there wishing to join the net this evening, please call on in. Golf 2 Romeo Echo. Good evening to you there. I've forgotten your name. We've met once before. Terrible with names there, but good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Name here is Rob, Romeo Oscar Bravo. Is that Matt by any chance?
It is. Matt here, Cherry 0FNT. I'm down in the heart of Glastonbury there.
Yeah, hi Matt, good to speak to you again. Sorry, I've just switched in. Didn't mean to interrupt your net, guys. Feel free to ignore me if you're in the middle of something.
No, not at all. I'm live at the moment. We're live on air. I'm also going out live via live stream at the moment because Mike there, our social media and treasurer expert on social media and all that, he's actually put a live feed up. So the net's actually gone out live via our group on Facebook for those who haven't got access to radio and want to keep learning operational procedures and things like that there. Rob, back to you.
Fantastic. That sounds really, really cool. It's nice to see initiatives like that going on.
Yeah, we've all got lots and lots of time on our hands, and each day or so, somebody comes up with another idea. So that was Mike's plan, and we've got a few people following the video live on the Facebook, our Facebook page, which is Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club. If you remember Facebook, you can click on that, like us, and you can follow the live feed anytime there, Rob, there. But we're trying our best there, because we've got quite a few people who are going through starting the foundation, and everything, as you're probably aware, is on hold to further notice. So just to keep the interest going for them, we're sort of doing things like this so they don't feel too much left out in regards to their training and things like that there. Rob, back to you.
Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, you guys are always really good at doing the training, weren't you, and bringing new people in, which is superb. So respect to you for that, and I hope that any of the guys who are listening do get into the hobby, because obviously it's a very interesting hobby, but it's interesting when you can actually start using the kit. It's pretty boring when you're just learning the theory and you can't actually use any of it. So hopefully you keep everyone engaged, and they'll come through.
Jimmy's FN2 return to the group. Yeah, well, it's the same for anybody who wants to drive a car at the moment. All that's on hold, isn't it? Anybody who wants to do a driving test. So, to be fair, amateur radio, driving the car, all these sort of things are sort of anything to do with examinations and tests, etc., are on hold. But nevertheless, we've got to keep the people entertained. I've had about 3 or 4. Well, it's the same person rang twice, but I've had 2 people ring me this week regarding our club, and they want to take their foundation, ask me some information, and I just said, well, all I can do is ring you back when things are back to normal. I said, but meanwhile, if possible, if they're trading, still get in touch with the RSGB and get yourself a foundation book, study that, then go from there. I know there's another chap in Glastonbury called Mike. We seem to have a lot of Mikes and Robs and Richards in our club, so it does get confusing. So they got another chap called Mike wishing to join the club, and a chap called Rob in Hilton, home of the most famous musical festival, which is cancelled, of course. But he wants to come.
So I'm just going to turn that down a minute. There's one thing I wanted to mention. If you are interested in doing your foundation license, there's a book that it's backwards on your screen, I'm sure, but it's called the Foundation License Manual, and that has all the theory information in you need to pass your exam. I'm going to be doing these live webinars, but that is an excellent companion to that, and it's great for revision. They're not very much, they're about £5-ish, maybe 7, off Amazon or off the RSGB website. That's the Radio Society of Great Britain, and you can get it out to you. This period of lockdown would be an excellent time to sit and do it. I'm about to do it for the full. I've got the full license manual, and I'm going to be revising through that over this lockdown period. Anyway, back to the radio.
Moan and groan, as it was. It can be some nights, and some nights it can be fun and laughter, Rob. We don't take things to the heart there. We're all good friends, and we all have a nice bit of banter between us. So back to you. G2RE from 2E2FNT.
Yes, thanks for that, Matt. 20FMT G2RE returning. Hey, I can moan with the best of them. Don't worry about that. And have a laugh, of course. I think it's one of those where it's really, really difficult to plan anything at the moment. And I won't hold the microphone because I know that there's other guys on it as well. But really difficult to plan anything just because we don't actually know. So if we knew exactly how long we were planning for, then there's a lot of things you can do. But it's a little bit awkward right now because obviously it could be 3 weeks is probably the earliest I've heard. But on the other side of it, you hear things like schools not going back until September and stuff. So it's very, very difficult to actually get a timeline and know when to start arranging stuff for. Because if you knew that, then there's lots of things you can start to plan. But we keep going, don't we? It's all good for a laugh. Back to you, 20FMT from G2RE in the group.
Thanks there, Rob. 20FMT returning to the group. Yes, I will pass you around. Before I do that, I will do a general call on the frequency in case there's anybody out there wishing to join in. I've got the PTT press. We've got Dave M3MYM, who I was currently talking to. He's down in the city of Wales there, Rob. I know you should hear him, no problem, being that you're slightly above him there, up on the lovely part of the Mendip, as it was. But before I do that, is there any other stations out there wishing to join us on S19, the Isle of Avalon Amateur Radio Club, Wednesday night? Come on in, please. Nothing heard so far. So Dave, give Rob a call and have a chat with Rob there. His call sign is G2 Romeo Echo, Golf 2 Romeo Echo. That's G2RE, Dave, G2RE. The name's Rob, and he's not far above you, shall we say. He's a little bit the east side of the Mendips above you there, Dave. Back to you.
Hey, G2RE, this is M3MYM giving you a call. A very good evening to you, Rob.
Yeah, good evening, M3MYM. I recognise your call sign. Could you give me your name?
Yeah, the first one would be this way, would be Dave.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing? Good to hear you. I recognise the call sign, but I don't have anything in the log to show that we've talked before. So maybe that's just my poor log keeping. But yeah, up on the hill, but Wellesley on Penn Hill. So if you see the Mendip Mast, we're a little bit sort of north of that, if that makes any sense. About I don't know, halfway up, something along those lines.
Yeah, understandable there, Rob. Yeah, I know where you are roughly. I'm not saying too much, and roughly have a good idea. And I drop over the Mendips, and I think by the mast you can either go down right, down the big lane, or the other way.
Yeah, so Old Bristol Road is the road. So sort of runs parallel with I think it's the A37, maybe A38. That's that side of the hill. But if it wasn't for a few trees and a few bits and pieces, then we probably have a great view over Wales. You said if you go a bit higher up the hill, you've got some nice there. But pretty good takeoff for radio. Got the FM antennas up, but still not managed to do much with the HF antennas yet. And it's literally just time. So we lived in the house for 2 years, and it took us a year and a half before I managed to get the FM antennas up. So the 2 meter antennas up. So it's taken a little bit of time to get everything set up. But that's the thing, isn't it? You move into a house that needs stuff doing to it, and radio tends to take a back seat for a bit.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Everything seems to be taking the back seat of things then, bro. Yeah. Do you remember the old Charlie Bravo days?
I do indeed, yes. That's what I grew up with, and remember even as a kid, probably when I was 12, 13 years old, playing on the CVs and chatting to mates and stuff, which was really, really cool.
Yeah. What was your handle with the thing then, Rob, at the time?
The Rambler. Probably because I rambled on a bit, but that was the handle at the time.
Yeah, I might have spoken to him at the time, but there you go, mate. Anyway, it's nice to hear you, Rob. Hope we'll have many more conversations again. I'll let it go round to, I don't know if Mike's still by. 20 Romeo Whiskey with 20 FNT on the side with G2RE. Rob. Anyway, round to you then, Mike.
This is 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey. Good evening again, gentlemen. Golf 2 Romeo Echo. Rob, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry, just so 2 Echo Zero. Can you just give me the rest of your call sign?
Of course, no problem. It's Romeo Whiskey. Romeo Whiskey.
Fantastic. 2 Echo Zero Romeo Whiskey. Just because being, I would say old-fashioned, I'm not really, but somebody bought me one of the RSGB logbooks, and so I'm now trying to fill that in, which for me works really well because I've got a memory like an absolute sieve. So it's sort of nice just to be able to make a note of the call signs and sort of look back and make a note of the personals as well. So yeah, it actually vaguely sounds like I actually recognise people when I, as I say, have absolutely no memory at all. But that's why you'll probably find that if we talk again in the future, there'll be a flicking of pages. Back to you, Mike.
Yeah, no problem, Rob. I must admit, I tend not to log VHF contacts so much, but I spent a long time using many different online logging systems and finding them all really, really tedious. I tried many different ones, and in the end I decided the best thing I could possibly do is go back to a paper log. So that's exactly what I've done. As I say, I tend not to log VHF contacts so much, but I do use it a lot for HF.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'd probably be the same, except as I say, at the moment I don't have the HF antenna up, so you know, best of a bad world, if that makes sense. I got given the log for Christmas, so it's you know, so I've only been going really since January, so still sort of the novelty of logging stuff is still there. I have tried the online logs. I tried sort of some of the contest logs and things like that, and yeah, completely agree. Tedious. I mean, good for contesting, but tedious if you just try to. And the nice thing is that I don't need to power up computers or anything like that. I can literally just write it out, so that's much simpler.
Yeah, quite agree. I found I mean I've always used a paper log when out portable or mobile. Well, not mobile so much, but certainly when I'm out portable. But yeah, only recently have I decided, well, I think it was before Christmas, but I decided to use a paper log again. Much easier. Anyway, just so you're aware, I'm getting you 5 and 9 across the board, and I'm located in Walton, just outside of Street. Back to you.
Okay, cool. As you say that, I'm actively looking on my OS map to find Walton.
If you follow, I think it's the A39 through Street, and just keep following it, Walton is the village immediately after Street. It's almost attached onto the side of it.
Okay, yeah, I can see it. So directly east of Street, got it.
West of Street. Hang on, which way's north? Yes, I'm west of Street.
Yeah, you absolutely are. I'm incorrect there. Yeah. Directly west of Street. So that's great. I can see Walton. So it looks like it's not too busy there, and it looks like there's a church and stuff in there. Church with a spire. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. To be honest, I've never studied the church, but I would assume, yeah, it's a spire.
Yeah, and you got a pub, so I mean, sounds like the perfect village.
Do you know what? I've never been in the pub, which is ridiculous, but I've never been in there.
It's back to that thing of you don't go to anywhere which is sort of close to you, do you? I mean, it took us ages before we went to like Glastonbury Abbey, or you know, all of the places which are sort of really big tourist attractions around here. And the only time we go is when people come to visit Cathedral and Glastonbury Abbey and all that sort of stuff, and you're pretending that you actually know something about them when it's your first trip as well. So yeah, it's typical. You never explore your own area, do you?
No, I quite agree. Anyway, I'm going to let you go back round to someone else, because I've just got to step outside a minute, and then yeah, I'll be back on air shortly from 2 Echo Zero, Romeo Whiskey Whiskey.
RWW G5FM for a quickie, Mike.
G5FM, yes, Martin. Just so you're aware, we have got Golf 2 Romeo Echo, Rob from Wells on as well.
Roger. I'm copying Rob, no problem, but he's probably not copying me because I'm still on a handheld. That question, are you right-handed or left-handed, Mike?
Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm eating, I'm left-handed. If I'm writing, I'm right-handed.
And which hand have you got your microphone in?
My right hand.
Because everything is reversed on the video feed. When you held the Foundation license book up, all the writing was reversed. Is that a setting in your camera or a setting somewhere else?
That's just how the... As far as I'm aware, that's just how the camera works. I haven't played with any settings in it yet to see if that's an issue. I did mention as I held the book up that it was probably backwards on the screen. So yes, I was aware of that. In future feeds I will try and flip the image. I don't know if it's actually a possibility or not.
Right, Roger, all understood. I've been trying to flip it myself, but I haven't got any controls which allow me to do it.
No,
I think this is a marvellous initiative on your part. It's absolutely great. I wish we could have invited more people to join in. Anyway, I'll let you go out for a smoke, improve that cough of yours, which was really scaring watchers, the viewers.
yeah, I promise it's smoker's cough.
30RWW G5FM back to monitoring.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, will do. Matt, did you just call in then?
Yeah, 2EZFN210. Yeah, if you've got a laptop with a webcam on it, or if you've got a webcam or anything like that.
Yes, I have. It's not as high quality as the phone, though.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, so I was going to mention that, because I can't put you on full screen, because, it's in portrait mode, if you get me. It won't do it in landscape mode, so I only see your ceiling, your face, and the floor, and a little bit of the radio. But yeah, that might be because of the way the camera's set up, isn't it? It's a shame that, because then we could have seen the room a bit more wider, if you get me. Then when we press full screen on the computer here, it'll come up like full screen. But never mind, but perhaps there's something maybe you can look into. And yeah, like Martin mentioned, all the lettering, because even on your frequency readout, it's all back to front on the radio there. But never mind, it's good work though. There seems to be a good number of people following, and well done. And I'll let you go out and have your smoke there, Mike. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have got another plan. I've got another camera. I just got to get the right cable for it. And hopefully if we do this again, we can have a decent image. What I'm going to do is share this on several local groups as well. I'm going to end the live feed in a minute, but I'm going to share it on some local groups and see if that drums up any interest. Right, I'm going to step outside a minute from 2 Echo Zero, Romeo Whiskey Whiskey.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Much appreciated, and well done for what you're doing now. Okay, Martin, I'll let you go through to Rob there. You've got Rob on and you've got Dave on as well at the moment.
Right, we are going to end the feed shortly, but I'll leave you with these guys just while I pop outside and pollute the atmosphere, and hopefully after that we'll end.
Dave M3MYM, I wonder if you're copying me. Probably not, because I'm on a handheld. Nothing heard. G2 Romeo Echo, are you copying me, Rob?
Yeah, hi there, Martin. Yeah, copying you You're sort of a bit down on the noise, but we're picking you up. So as long as your sort of sort of your batteries and stuff stay good, then that's fine. So I can just turn the squelch down or up, depending on how you look at it, and I can just about hear you. You're not your normal clarity self. So are you using the handheld inside? Because I remember you saying that you had an antenna in your window at one point.
Yeah, G5FM, can you get that from Rob? Yeah, Golf 5 Foxtrot, Mike 20 FNT. Not sure what happened there, Rob. It's disappeared.
I reckon batteries run out. So either that or walked around on the new sort of houses have plasterboard with a tinfoil backing too. I've certainly been in a situation where sort of been walking around inside a house and suddenly got cut off. So maybe he's got that as well.
Right, okay, we're going to end it there. If any of you viewers have a scanning device or a shortwave device, if you listen to 145.475 megahertz, you will hear us come on quite often during the day. Yeah, so also watch the page for any information to do with a foundation training webinar if you wish to take your license. Thank you very much. We'll bid you goodbye.